the transition to full online or to the full online mode of delivery is not difficult for most of these universities. There are also some institutions or higher education institutions which are already capable of delivering naman through blended learning. So sa blended learning natin, of course, this is a mix of either online or offline mode of delivery. But of course, even if under online, sa online delivery mode natin o sa blended learning natin, there are still challenges. For instance, ang challenge natin, even if an institution is capable, there are some students which have low connectivity or limited capability naman to connect. So these are the things that, of course, that we should envision or that we should pose a solution or a remedy so that even despite these challenges, we can continue our learning. So CHED already launched our Field CHED Connect. Of course, it's an online learning platform containing open educational resources. And fortunately, there are also learning resources which came from our leading universities, including University of the Philippines and some of our international partners. So these resources have already been vetted by this institution. So talaga naman makikita natin na quality ito. And out of their goodwill also, they share these learning resources. So we are thankful na talaga namang yung bayanihan among our universities, state universities and colleges, and our private higher education institutions are really showing in these times of pandemic. Gayon din naman, we are also providing trainings for our for faculty members so that they can shift or so that they can transition into this into flexible learning. We also provided grants sa ating mga higher education institutions so that they can do their own training for flexible learning. At natutuwa naman ang komisyon dahil marami talaga sa ating mga private higher education institutions at ating mga state universities and colleges ang sumagot sa tawag namin. So, iba sa kanila, libre pa na piniprovide ang training para sa ating mga faculty members. So ito, makakatulong itong mga training na ito, hindi lang doon sa flexible learning natin, kung hindi para din makapag-transition ang ating mga faculty members sa program-specific concerns sa program-specific concerns. At yun din naman, nagpo-provide din kami ng grants so that our higher education institutions can develop offline resources kasi we have to recognize na hindi lang naman talaga online resources ang kailangan natin. Marami or many of our stakeholders really need offline resources kasi we recognize that there are of course limitations into their connectivity and we should give as equal resources to them so that they would have these resources as well.
Yeah, one of our major programs now is the DepEd Commons. We have been planning for this online platform for the last few months, but when the pandemic kicked in during the first quarter of this year, we were forced to put it live and publish it so that our learners will still have access to the materials that they would be needing for the last quarter period. So we were forced to publish and to make live the DepEd Commons, where all available materials can be accessed by the teachers and by the learners themselves. So this DepEd Commons is actually our platform where all available materials coming from the different sources and then coming from teachers and coming from our textbooks, our lessons, our experiences, etc. will be uploaded so that they can be accessed at any given time by our learners and by our teachers. Right now, we are test broadcasting our TV and radio programs so that we will have a feel of how these programs are being undertaken. We are not expert in this field. We are not competent enough to run broadcasting. But this experience now, this is pushing this situation that we are in now, is pushing us to deal with these things, the unfamiliar things that we have not put in our program before. So this is a good opportunity for us to blend all these technologies in order to serve all our learners, whatever is the situation they are in right now. When we made live the DepEd Commons, the first concern that we got from the parents and from the learners is to enable to for them to access the DepEd Commons. They would be needing some loads or some data charges because they would be accessing an online platform. So we made some representations with our telecommunications companies, and one of them who first responded here is Globe. They whitelisted the DepEd Commons. They made access to DepEd Commons free, so that even if you do not have load, communication load or cell phone load, you can still access materials at the DepEd Commons. So this is one kind of collaboration and partnership that we would want to further explore between a public an institution like DepEd and a private one like Globe. What we now do is to upskill our teachers. No, we need really to capacitate our teachers in the use of available technologies, whether these technologies are the latest ones or the oldest ones. We really need to capacitate them, train them on how to use one technology and the other technology, utilize everything so that they can facilitate their teaching and make their teaching easier, enjoyable, and more effective. Now, this is what we do now. So through webinars, through trainings, and through online coaching, we really provide this kind of support to all our learners. You know, the entire teaching staff of DepEd now ranges to about almost 1 million. And when you would look at the demographics of all these teachers, they belong to separate or different generations, and some have not been exposed to the digital age. So we may be needing to introduce to them or reintroduce to them or deepen their understanding on the use of tools, technologies in the teaching process.
So aside from the provision of internet connectivity, we also needed support in terms of how do we educate our students virtually, especially with lab simulations. So what we did in PACU is we formed a consortia so that we could address the various simulation needs of our students. For example, what we did was we, as a group, we leveraged the numbers of our students and we talked to a virtual laboratory simulation provider so that we were able to bring down the rate from $50 to something like $3 per head. So which for us was a big help to our institutions because we were able to put together a consortium of about 60 schools in PACU and over 60,000 students that can avail of these specialized, highly advanced laboratory simulations. But it's useless if you don't have internet connectivity. So what we did next was, this Mark, we have been in constant discussions with our telcos. We have been pleading with them, can you please whitelist some of our LMSs so that it's also accessible to our students? And for that, we're grateful because you heard us and you took a long list from us of all the LMSs, all of the subscriptions that needed to be whitelisted so that we could deliver education better. And then you also listened to us, or the telcos listened to us in terms of providing better rate, better priced data plans. And for that, we are grateful to our telco partners, to Globe, for helping us on this one, because otherwise it will really be difficult if we are to do digital education of our students. Initially, what most schools did was to recalibrate their curriculum so that all the lab components that cannot be offered successfully or in a very enhanced way will be offered at a much later date. Universities, institutions should be built to last, or more so, built to adapt, so that we all learn from the experiences of today and be able to find better ways of delivering education using the experience that we have now. What can we do? We can develop what we have built. We can have universities that will run simultaneous programs with platforms that can curate and shape curricula. We can develop online and hybrid learning using technologies that cuts across the digital divide. And also, there's a lot of opportunity through strategic development of digital learning. This COVID scenario, this COVID crisis, although it has been very challenging for us, it's also a big opportunity for us to change our ways. Let our hardships be a lesson for everyone. Let us start preparing for the future now.